Now let's move on to the main story of today. Like, we got to break down who this Bad Bunny character is. Now, if you haven't heard of him, this is why this is a big deal. Okay, this is why MAGA is in an uproar, and especially the week of the Epstein files coming out. Bad Bunny, turn that volume off. This is who he is. I mean, okay, first of all, perversion. All right, we can all get that. But it's like whatever. I'm a fan of Monty Python. Okay, a guy in a dress. It's like, it's gross. And in today's society, with all that's going on, it's a little more meaningful than it used to be, because it used to be just comedy bits or somebody. But now it's all about the LGBTQ stuff or the satanic stuff. Bill Clinton in a dress in Epstein's house in a painting. Okay, it is the sickos who do this. We know a lot more than we used to know. When Monty Python used to get dressed up and do funny sketches dressed as women, they were actually playing the role as women. They weren't playing the role as a man dressing up as a woman with no gender. This is who Bad Bunny is. He is the perfect icon of the entire agenda they've been trying to push on us. The perversion, which, by the way, we just found out in the Epstein files that Epstein was one of the main people pushing the transgender ideology from the beginning. Believed you should start transing kids as early as 3 years old. Yeah, no joke. That's in the Epstein files. Was a big proponent of it. Disgusting stuff. So now we can even put the trans agenda back to Epstein. Well, it goes farther than that. So just showing you guys who he is. We have this, and we have him controlled by these demonic forces in the back in their chains. What do you think this kind of imagery is suggesting? This is what they do, guys. They always show you. Remember in the old Q posts, it used to say symbology or symbolism will be their downfall, because they believe they have to show you who they really are. And so, like that, I just realized this pink bucket, my kid's pink bucket was here on my desk. So they show you who they really are. And a man in chains with demonic people with goat head horns on their heads. What does that tell you? You don't do it just that for fun, right? I mean, that's not... It's one thing if you're doing a video and he breaks free of the chains and finds Jesus, and it's artistic and it's about that, but that's not what these are about. This is about control. Look at this. The collar around his neck. This is, I'm a slave to them. Wearing a skirt again. I mean, this is sick stuff. It's really sick stuff. And this is the guy they chose to do the halftime show. The #1 watched TV event of the year every year. It's supposed to be family friendly, and they choose this. And then think about it. Do you think it's any coincidence that Trump dropped the Epstein files so close to the Super Bowl with all this going on? I really don't think so. It's starting to look more and more like this was all coordinated to wake us up and get people's minds on it ahead of time. Let's keep going. Bad Bunny, known to be kissing dudes. I mean, so the fluidity. This guy just stands for nothing except to go against traditional norms, Christian norms, values, conservative values. He stands for to shoot down all of that. And then you get this kind of sick stuff. So he's at the Grammys the other night, and of course, he's kind of like this left-wing hero right now because he's been because of the backlash of the Super Bowl, and they love when their guys are like on the wrong side of things. But listen what he says here.
Before I say thanks to God, I'm gonna say eyes out.
Oh, brave guy. Ice out. Had to make his ice statement. Did you hear what he said right before that? This is one of the things that drive me nuts, because I have so many people who get duped by this stuff, but he said, before I thank God. Now, it's very important to recognize this. Now, I worked for years in deliverance ministry. Okay, I was a minister. I worked in church. I was raised in church and was on church leadership for 10 years, and I did counseling and deliverance ministry. So I've helped people get rid of demons. I've dealt with people who've experienced satanic ritual abuse. And one of the things that they do to dupe you, to deceive you, the celebrities and all the people who are into this satanic crap, is they will say, oh, we believe in God. We thank God. But it's always the generic God. It's never Jesus. And there's a reason for that. Because in their minds, thanking God can be anything. It can be the universe. It can be Satan himself. It can be themselves. Sometimes they believe they are God. And so that word, it's been used for years and years and years. And in the Christian church and even in the normie section of the world, if they hear somebody say, well, thank God, he must be a good guy. He must be that means something. Maybe it's not what you think. I've heard this my entire life, people being defended for this, but it's deception. You understand that they can't say Jesus, because then they're literally prohibited by that, by spiritual law. It's in the book of John, but First John. They can't say the name of Jesus that they would thank him or bow before him. It's prohibitive. Demonic can't say that, but they can say God, because that can mean anything. So that was what I wanted to show you guys here. And again, the ice thing, but here we go. Politics. It's politics and a culture war. And the NFL's putting it on blast for all of us to see right now and to normalize it. They want our kids to accept this guy, to listen to his music, because that's how you get sucked in. It's a little bit at a time. And, a mature person can separate art from a person. So, it's like if you went through every single movie you ever loved that you've watched 100 times for the last 50 years, and you went through every director, every actor in it, I'm sure 90% of those movies would have somebody disgusting attached to it in some place. Does that mean you're going to stop watching that movie? Some of you might be like, yeah, I'll rip them all off. Well, good for you. That leaves you 10% of your favorite movies and shows for the last, however long you've been alive. But the vast majority of us can turn a blind eye to it and say, you know what? It's art versus the person. Okay. And so it's like you could listen to a song, you could whatever. I mean, I still listen to Beatles songs, and I know there was some dark stuff sometimes there. Led Zeppelin, man, they got into some dark stuff. I still listen to some Led Zeppelin here and there. It's like you can separate the art, but a kid can't. That's where the kids get into the celebrity culture. They start following it. They start following these people, fandoming them. Taylor Swift has been a big deal on this. Like, as she's gotten older, she's kind of really turned into some dark stuff, some witchcraft stuff. Now, I have a theory she might be coming out of it, but that's neither here or there. The point is she has gotten a lot of girls who followed her through that innocent period, the country period, even the early pop stuff, which was really good music. But now, as she got into this huge queen of the world pop area and got into real dark stuff, started wearing like witchcraft in her videos and stuff, and talking some really dark things, trying to lead kids into like voting for Kamala Harris and, trying to impact politics. That's what they do. They suck you in. And so this is what they're doing here. They're trying to present this guy at the Grammys. He looks nice, wearing a tux, saying, I'm going to thank God. And then it's politics. It's the slow boil. And that's what by putting this guy on the halftime show. And here's the problem. You better darn well know they knew this about this guy. This was all coordinated. First full year of the Trump administration, you're bringing this in when conservative values are back, the woke stuff's going away, and you bring this guy up. Crazy stuff.